Okay, guys and gals, so today we're going to be making this little felt donut. I'm going to show you step by step how to do it. This is a very easy sewing tutorial. A beginner can do it from age maybe 5 all the way up to adult. It just depends on how you parents supervise your children wisely. I can't stress that enough. Okay, so the materials you're going to need for this little donut are some felt in different colors, and you can make these absolutely any color you want to. I'm doing mine in kind of a beige color with pink glaze. Okay, so you need the felt. You'll also need some of this cotton batting, and it comes in the bags. You get them in the craft store in the fabric department. And I usually use the polyfill that's made for stuffed animals. There are different grades of it. That's a really soft one, kind of feels like clouds, so it's really good for stuff like that. The next thing you'll need is a circle pattern, and what I did to get mine was I went online and I googled free circle coloring pages, and this was a whole page, and you can see the difference. I printed it in 5x7, and this would have been the whole page, but this is what I got when I printed 5x7 because it shrinks it down to the size of a 5x7 picture. So that's just easier than I tried cups and different size cups in the house, and I just didn't have one with a wide enough opening to make the right size donut, so I printed this out. So I'm going to take my felt and I'm going to fold it over, and I'm going to pin the felt, but I'm not going to pin the pattern to the felt because it tends to not sit right. And this is a little small, but that's okay because I'm going to have to cut it down anyway. And I'm going to do this with a permanent marker. I'm just going to hold my whole hand on it, my 4 fingers, so that it doesn't shift, and I'm going to just very gently trace around that circle. Now, I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to go ahead and clip these pieces off because they're in my way. And I'm going to cut inside this outline. But I'm going to be very careful to do it so that I'm not cutting too much of this off. Now I want to cut out some frosting. And this one, you can pretty much just pin it and cut it out. It doesn't have to be super neat. Okay, so now we've got that, and we're going to lay this on top and see that it fits good. And we put that aside, and we're going to take one of the circles for the donut, we're going to fold it over this way halfway, fold it over this way halfway, and then we're going to make a mark. You want to be careful, go small with this, don't go big, because you can make it bigger, but you can't make it smaller once you've cut it. So I'm just going to take my pen and I'm going to mark a quarter circle. And I'm going to very carefully cut this out. So there we go. Now we've got our donut hole. Now what we need to do is cut it to match this one. And the way I do it is I just take my scissors and clip that, and I hold it in my hands and I make a cross just to the openings of the other circle, the hole that you've already cut. And then you can just clip those off. If they don't match up perfect, it's okay, as long as one's not way bigger than the other one. Then you might have to start over. With the frosting piece, you can pretty much just do like you did with the donut hole, but it doesn't matter if it's a little bit bigger. It's okay. I'm just going to cut this out without even measuring. Not always a good idea, but still, I did it. So there, it fits good on the top. Okay, kiddos, so I've sewn the it's like frosting for the donut all the way on it, and I'm going to turn it over. You can see all of my stitches there. What I'm going to do is tie this stitch off. Now, you always have to tie your stitches off when you're done, or else your work will come undone and, you know, it'll be ruined. So we're going to go through this last stitch here, but I'm not going all the way through the material. I'm just going through that thread, and I'm going to take it all the way through, and then I'm going to do it again, but this time I'm going to stop when I have a small loop. You see that small loop in there? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread this needle through 3 times. Make sure you're going through and not unthreading it, but you want to thread it through 3 times, and then you want to take it and pull it and make a little knot. And now you just want to leave a little bit of a tail where that knot is. Okay, so once you have your frosting sewn to the top, you want to take the donut pieces, and I had them pinned together before I started the video, but you know you wouldn't sew that together with the 2 pieces pinned. You put right sides facing together where your frosting is going to be on the inside. And I'm just going to pin it in a couple of places just to keep that in place. Now I've got a needle and a threaded needle, and I've double threaded it, and I've showed you guys how to do that before, but it's just folding the thread over and putting 2 layers through instead of 1, and it keeps things together better. Now with this part, for those of you who are experienced with a sewing machine, you can do this with a sewing machine, but I am aiming this video towards younger viewers who probably should not be using a sewing machine just yet. So for the purpose of showing you guys how to do that hand sewing, I'm going to hand sew this, but it is much quicker with a sewing machine. You could get your mom or your dad, or you know, an older sibling who sews, to use the machine and do this outside part if you want to. What I'm going to do is do a straight stitch all the way around the outside. I'm going to close it completely up, and I will do a few stitches in real time to show you guys that, and then I'm going to speed it up so you don't have to watch me do every single stitch. But you want to go straight through both layers. Don't pull too tight, but pull it to where that knot is right up against the fabric. And then you want to make one right next to it. You want to stay close to the edge of this felt right here, but you just want to keep it even. Try to do the same size stitches every time. The same distance apart, and the same distance from the edge of the donut piece. So I have finished sewing all the way around. You can see my stitches aren't always the neatest, but it's okay. You get in good practice and you'll get used to it. So now what I'm going to do is knot off my stitching, and I'm at the first knot that I made in the thread. I'm going to go through one of the stitches, not all the way through the material, just through the thread, and then I'm going to go through again and make a loop and go in that loop with the needle 3 times, and then I'm going to pull it nice and taut. Don't rip through your felt. I'm going to cut a little tail on it, and now we have our completed circle for the outside of the donut. Now we just need to turn all of this right. Okay, so I have a double threaded needle here, and I'm going to start sewing up the middle of the donut by going through one layer. I don't want to go through the bottom. I don't want this knot to show. So I'm just going to go through one layer of it, bring it through, and I'm going to take the needle and hide that little tail in there, pinch it closed with my fingers, and I'm going to come through that same place again, but I'm going through both layers of the felt. So I'm going to go all the way around doing that until I leave a small opening to stuff it. Okay, so I've still got about halfway to go on this, closing up the middle of the donut. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and stuff it a little bit, just so that it's not so hard to do once I get to close to the end. So I'm going to push it in there and push it around to where I've already sealed it up, stitched it up. And just do a little bit at a time. You don't want to, this felt is really easy to tear. So you don't want to tear it, you just want to take your time. So I'm almost to the end. I just have a few more stitches to go. And you just want to make sure before you close it completely up that you're happy with the shape of your donut. You got plenty of stuffing in it. And then you just want to go ahead and start finishing it up. And it gets a little tricky when it's stuffed, but you can pinch it between your fingers like this. And I'm getting through both layers. So now when I get to that last stitch, what I want to do is I'm going to come through one of my stitches closest to the needle here. I'm going to create that loop I need. I'm going to go through once and then twice and make a small loop and put your needle through that loop 3 times. And make sure you're getting it through there 3 times, because if you go backwards, you're unlooping it. You're not looping it. And you pull it till you get a knot, and then you want to take it, and what I like to do is just go through anywhere and make a tail on it, and you want to pull it back and hold it tight and clip it. And that tail disappears into the material along with the knot you made. So there you go, there's your donut. And you can see I made a couple of different ones, and I used to make these all the time. I forgot how I used to do it, and so I looked it up online, and I did this first one the way I found online. And you can see how messy my last stitches are because it required you to leave an opening instead of sewing all the way around. And it actually looks really messy, but this way you can see a lot better. It's sealed up nicely, and so this is the way you'll see it done in the video. But then all you have to do is you just decorate it with I used puff paint to make like a glaze on the donut, or you can use different colors of paint and make sprinkles. If you're comfortable with putting beads on it, you can put colorful beads to make it look like sprinkles. That's all it is. And there you have it, felt donut. Hope you guys and gals enjoyed this little video. Peace, y'all. Bye-bye.